What's up? Tyler Keith here, plugged on. We're going to now review this time the new album from band Warbringer entitled Woe to the Vanquished. It's their 5th album. It's a follow-up to 2013's Empire's Collapse. Both of us didn't really think that album was where it should be for Warbringer, especially after their first 3 albums. It was, we're both a little intrigued by this. They put out the track Silhouettes, which we reviewed when it came out, and it was kind of exactly where Warbringer should be. And I mean, we haven't even talked about this album yet since it came out, but I fucking think this album is godly.
Yeah, I also really like this album. I mean, yeah, this should have been what Empire's Collapse was. This is what they should have went for. The balance between classic Warbringer and the new kind of more melodic stuff that they've tried to throw in a couple spots. This works so much better.
Yeah, I agree. What did you think of it?
Like I said, I thoroughly enjoy this album. Just because, again, it is very much similar in a lot of ways to their early stuff. It's very thrashy, especially like the first 4 songs are all just go and just punch you right in the face the whole way through. But a lot of the album does introduce other elements that are not completely new, because they tried similar things on Empire's Collapse, but there is like a lot more melodic stuff, like in Spectral Asylum. There's one song that I noticed that in. There's also a lot more almost death metal sounding parts, like in Shellfire and the opening of Divinity of Flesh. So like there's kind of like Warbringer, again, they're trying to incorporate more into their sound, and I think it, like I said, it works this time. I mean, Remain Violent is, it's one of the probably my favorite song from the whole album. It's just short, sweet, and to the point, and it just does what it needs to, and it gets its message across. And like, yeah, like the title track, I also just really like, because it's kind of just a combination of everything that this album tries to do, and like Descending Blade's really cool, like because it just kind of that one goes and it. Yeah, sorry, give me a second. I'm a little scatterbrained right now. Sorry.
It's like your brain just shut off. Literally, you're just like talking to yourself.
There was a dial tone, like you could hear, like if my thoughts were being transmitted. Just all right, back on track. I'm rebounding. So, but yeah, like, I think everything about this album is like awesome. With the exception of Hunter Seeker, I couldn't probably name any or like remember any riffs from their last album. Whereas like I remember like specifically like the ending of Descending Blade. That's where I was going with my thought before my brain shut off. Like the riff there is really cool. All the riffs in Remain Violent, and and then like I said, the intro of Divinity of Flesh was really cool. The only part of the album that, and I do like the song, it's just that I get a little, that I kind of I don't like as much as the rest of the album, is When the Guns Fell Silent. I just don't know if that song needs to be 11 minutes long. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, this album's like basically flawless. Like, again, there's all kinds of different stuff that Warbringer hasn't really done before, and everything sounds great. John Cavill does great on vocals throughout like the whole thing. It's like edgy, aggressive, and it just sounds angry, which is what you want from this kind of album. The drums, again, kick ass. Warbringer solos are probably some of the best solos in thrash, especially in terms of like having these chaotic yet technically sound solos that just kind of capture your attention and move at like 90 miles an hour. It's all great, and it's all really fun. Like I said, I kind of went in with like, especially like before like a lot of tracks came out, like medium expectations, and they put out like Shellfire, Remain Violent, and Silhouettes, and I'm like, yeah, okay, but I mean, there's still like a lot of album left. Who knows? I mean, I was convinced that Empire's Collapse was going to be great after Hunter Seeker, and then well, like we said, we don't have I don't have the greatest opinion of that album, and yet this one I think is very, very solid. I think it's a great next step for Warbringer. Maybe not their best album, because I do like World Torn Asunder, but probably a bit more than this one. But I do think it is a nice breath of fresh air for Warbringer. So again, especially after the last album.
This is... I haven't really sat down and truly thought about it, but this might be my favorite album of the year so far. This album just blows me away every time I listen to it, just because it is exactly what Warbringer is. And Warbringer is probably the most pissed off and aggressive thrash band when they are firing on all cylinders. Like, to me, they kind of take a Slayer or a Creator, you know, a much more angry thrash band, and just take it to a whole nother fucking level. And it's mostly with John Cavill's vocals. I mean, his vocals are fucking amazing on so many of these songs. Silhouettes is one. Remain Violent, which is my favorite song too. I mean, those vocals are just badass the whole time. And that song is... It really gets you pumped up. I mean, you listen to it, I mean, it is just... has some of the most fucking thundering rhythms and just crunchy, thick as fuck riffs the whole time, and that chorus is phenomenal, and it's so good. I mean, the title track's good, Shellfire, every song is amazing to me. Spectral Asylum I really enjoyed. I enjoyed how it was a little bit on the slower side, which was cool. Divinity of Flesh is a riff fest from start to finish. I mean, that song has some fucking amazing riffs, man, and incredible solos and throughout this whole album, but that song especially. That song really blew me away too, because the drums just seem to just take that song to a whole nother level, because at times it changes up tempo, like mid-riff, and it's so cool. I like When the Guns Fell Silent. I don't think it's the best song on here, and yeah, I don't know if it should be 11 minutes long, but it's Warbringer kind of doing something a little bit different and writing something way longer and something that's just different. And I felt like on their last album they tried to do that, it just didn't really work the best, but this one worked really well. I feel they kind of put it all together. With the guitar work's really good in there, the vocals and the solos especially are really good. This is just badass, man. I mean, this is just such a cool album to me. Right from the opening with Silhouettes, when John's just kind of screaming, and the production there is just awesome, and then the guitar riff is just kind of fading in, and then it's just like boom, straight to the face. One of the hardest punches you could ever fucking feel from thrash. It's like, you just feel like this is one of the most badass things I've ever listened to. And I mean, this is Warbringer, man. This is exactly what they do with this type of just angry, extremely aggressive thrash music that is just heavy and fast. And when it's a little bit on the slower side, like a Spectral Asylum or Remain Violent or something, it still just has such an attitude to it. It's awesome. I love this album. I mean, there's not a whole lot to say, in my opinion, besides that it's fucking Warbringer, and it's maybe the best Warbringer album, but it's definitely a return to form for these guys, and definitely one of the best thrash albums that I think you'll hear in recent memory. I'm very serious when I say that. I fucking love this album. Yeah. Got anything else?
Nope.
John Cavill is just an amazing vocalist.
Oh yeah.
The way he pronounces certain things with just this like badass attitude to him, it's like, oh God. Remain Violent is
like you would think listening to that song
to me.
like listening to the lyrics, like, okay, like you can't really do that badass, but it's like, yeah, there it is, especially like the opening lines, you know.
Yeah, exactly. And then that chorus when he's saying like, you have the right to remain violent. It's like, it's just so awesome. Yeah. Scores.
I'll give it an 8.5. I do thoroughly enjoy this album. So yeah,
9 out of 10 for me. I like this a lot. Check it out. It's Warbringer. Woe to the Vanquished. See you guys next time.